Set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear. Eat medicine that's out of date, use your private parts as piranha bait. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Get your toast out with a fork, do your own electrical work. Teach yourself how to fly, eat a 2-week-old unrefrigerated pie. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to...
Hello and welcome back to the Druid's Deadly Darlings. I'm your host, Madame Datura, 19th century botanist and apothecary owner with 3 late husbands. But madam, what are those rings on your finger, you might ask? Oh, never mind that. And what are you doing in the 21st century? Well, that I can tell you. I have time traveled to the 21st century, to the year 2024, to explore some fabulous poisonous plants in my current abode. There's a bit of a scandal going on back home in my home time. Letting that die down a little bit. There might be a 4th late husband. Anywho, you didn't hear it from me. Today we're here to talk about plants. Poisonous plants. Always poisonous plants. And sometimes arsenic. It's not a plant, it's a mineral, but you know. It doesn't matter in my industry. It gets the job done all the same. And here to help me with that is my little familiar. Hello, Nixie. Say hello. Hi. She's not interested. Today I have brought you to the back of my garden of shadows here, where I have 2 different types of jasmine, and only one of which is a true jasmine. Now what does that mean, a true jasmine? A true jasmine means anything that is in the Jasminum genus. The Jasminum genus. See it? Remember that now. It'll be important, and it could save your life. This beautiful darling right here is none other than Jasminum sambac. She's not getting as much light as she typically would need, but she, you know, looked a little scarce over the winter. Did her winter thing, but she's recovered nicely and she is actually quite happy and flowering. She smells incredible. And she isn't poisonous. She isn't poisonous. And I know you came here for the poisonous plants. But that's where this lesson gets interesting. Not everything that I own and have in my garden of shadows and apothecary will kill you, unalive you. In fact, some of the things are medicinal. And this beauty over here, Jasminum sambac, I'm dyslexic, there we go. She is actually completely innocuous, and you can put her in tea, and that's usually the tea that you drink when you drink jasmine tea. Of course, the tea part itself does come from the Camellia sinensis plant. Incidentally, anything that does not contain leaves from Camellia sinensis, the tea plant, is not actually tea. It's called a tisane. But I digress. We don't have to argue on semantics. In fact, the last time I argued on semantics, or my husband argued with me, I ended up here in this terrible time. Anyway, Jasminum sambac is called Arabian jasmine, and I don't know that it has anything to do with Saudi Arabia. It comes from Southeast Asia and India, and is in fact worn in the hair and put into garlands, flower garlands and wreaths during many Southeast Asian and Hindu festivals. It is sacred to goddess Parvati of Hinduism, Lord Shiva's wife. And again, it smells amazing. This one here is a true jasmine, Jasminum sambac, and it will not hurt you. It is delightful. I wish you could smell it. This one, on the other hand, look at that cool little root structure I'm letting it do. Kind of bonsai'd it. This is Cestrum nocturnum, also known as night blooming jasmine. She doesn't have any flowers at the moment. I did let her come back, and she's doing very, very well. Going to give us some bloom booster and hopefully boost the flower production. Although typically for me that happens a little bit later in the summer. We're at the end of July right now, mid-August, should start producing some flowers. That's just in my experience, the way that I keep my plants, and of course, as you can see, they are healthy and thriving, for the most part. My dear beloved Cestrum nocturna, my night-blooming jasmine is not an official jasmine, and do not put her in your own tea. Please don't do that, and also please don't use this information to harm anyone or yourself. That's my disclaimer. I'm putting it out there. This is for educational purposes only. This one is highly poisonous. Every part of the plant is toxic, including the flowers. They do look and smell a lot like jasmine, true jasmine. It's indecipherable, really, the way in which it smells. And they do bloom at night, which is astounding. I think that's amazing. Hail to our beloved, beautiful friends, the nocturnal pollinators. But this plant will absolutely take you off the census. You know, anyone else for that matter who consumes it. She is a beauty though, and I am very happy to have her here in my collection of deadly darlings. And so that is why it is so very important to know the Latin names of what you are handling and planting and working with, especially in an herbalism setting. Always know the Latin names, because a lot of things share the same name, common name, and they're not the same thing. They might look and smell identical, but they're not the same thing. So, do your homework, know what you're working with, and everything will be well. And I would say typically you can tell by the leaves of the plants too, but in this case, with jasmine, it is kind of hard to tell. These, obviously the leaves look completely different, night and day, literally night and day. But other jasmines, such as Jasminum officinale, have completely different leaves from Jasminum sambac. So you can't always go by the leaves. But typically the way the flowers are classified has to do with the way in which the flowers look. But again, that isn't always a fail-safe. So, do your homework, know what's in your backyard, know what you are planting, and know, more than anything, what you are working with. And since we're here talking about deadly darlings, I'm going to show you my little hellebores. Of course, they're not blooming right now because it's just not their time. They bloom early spring, sometimes late winter. But they're healthy and they're happy. And oh look, it'll still be. So it is my most sincere hope that you have found this episode of the Druid's Deadly Darlings informative. I will be live in person on August 16th, that's a Friday at 7 p.m, back at the Chappaqua Library, talking about the Druid's Deadly Darlings. I will of course be in costume as Madame Datura, talking about this time arsenic. In local history, in folklore, in industry, and all the other places where arsenic is common, particularly in the 19th century. You could always look for me again. I'll be back in September and in October, but on October 30th, if you're closer to Chappaqua, New York, on October 30th, I will be there talking about the Druid's Deadly Darlings. In costume. And about witchy folklore involving plants. So, stay tuned for more updates on that. Be well, don't die, and as always, please plant responsibly. Yours truly, Madame Datura.